Patrice Lumumba was the first Prime Minister of the Republic of Congo, and he was assassinated brutally by the West. Lumumba was articulate, strategic, and radically committed to real sovereignty for Congo. Before becoming Prime Minister of Congo, Lumumba had been a postal clerk, a beer salesman, and a self-educated nationalist. Under Belgian rule, Congolese people had almost no access to real education. The Belgians had deliberately designed an education system that limited Black knowledge, just basic literacy and obedience. They called them the évolué, which meant a Black person evolved enough to mimic Europeans, but still seen as inferior. If a Congolese person learned French, converted to Christianity, and dressed European, they could earn the title of évolué. As a postal worker, Lumumba was seen as an évolué, but he used the system against them. He learned French to read revolutionary ideas. He learned the bureaucracy to understand the colonial power structures. He flipped the colonial schooling from a trap to a weapon. Lumumba read everything he could. He read French Enlightenment thinkers like Voltaire and Rousseau, and he read African and Pan-African writers. He read the work of Kwame Nkrumah and Leopold Sédar Senghor. He taught himself French fluently, which was a huge deal at the time, as it gave him access to political ideas that the Belgians never meant for Congolese to read. He used libraries and he bought all the books he could. In a system designed to make him an obedient clerk, he taught himself to become a revolutionary. His time as a postal clerk gave him access to international news. It gave him exposure to political debates, and it enabled him to connect with other Congolese thinkers. He joined cultural associations and debate clubs. Officially, these clubs were about literature and art, but unofficially they were about debating politics and liberation. He kept practicing his public speaking. He kept trying to organize meetings, trying to sharpen his argument against the colonists. He helped found several pro-independence groups before Congo even had political parties. Unlike other African leaders who had gone to the West to be educated, Lumumba's education came from the streets, from the fields. He was not trained by European professors. He was trained by ordinary Congolese people. He was radicalized by the brutality that he was witnessing firsthand in Congo. It made him fearless. He knew exactly what he was fighting for. He was not a communist. He was a Pan-African nationalist. He wanted Congo for Congolese people. He spoke truth to power. This is King Baudouin of Belgium. On the 30th of June 1960, King gave an extremely patronizing and imperial speech. He praised the genius of King Leopold, the man who'd orchestrated the mass murdering of 10 million people. He called Congo's independence a gift from Belgium, and he urged Congolese people to respect Belgian settlers, basically saying, we gave you freedom, don't fuck it up. Lumumba wasn't even scheduled to speak that day. This is Patrice with Joseph Kasavubu. Joseph was supposed to speak, but when Patrice heard what the colonizer said, he could not help himself. He stood up, looked the king directly in his eyes, and delivered one of the most legendary speeches in decolonial history.
Les ironies, les insultes, les coups que nous devions subir au matin, midi et soir, parce que nous étions des nègres. Qui oubliera qu'à un noir, on disait tu, non certes comme à un ami, mais parce que les vous honorables étaient réservés pour ceux blancs. Il y a beaucoup de dans notre école, dans notre expression colonialiste. Nous vous disons, tout cela est désormais fini.
This was Lumumba telling the Western world directly that Belgian colonialism was not civilizing Africa. It was violence and racism and theft. He slaps down the lie that Belgium was gifting independence to Congo. He says, we fought for this, we've suffered for it, we've been paying in our blood. He closes this speech by saying, together we shall establish social justice and ensure for everyone a fair remuneration for their labour. We shall show the world what the black man can do. Through his eloquent speeches, Lumumba planted the flag of dignity, not just for Congo, but for all colonized people who were watching him. The Congo isn't just some random colony. It is the richest place on earth. It is the Congo that powers the modern world. Uranium from the Congo fueled the Manhattan Project. Cobalt from the Congo is still used in the manufacturing of your phone that you're looking at. If you're watching me, you owe a Congolese person. This is Katanga, the mineral-dense core, the economic engine of Congo. Before independence, this region was already split between Belgian, US and British multinational companies, UMHK being the largest. Lumumba wanted real sovereignty. He wanted wealth distribution. He wanted to end the exploitative violence. He wanted the West to stop bleeding Congo dry. Lumumba didn't want fake independence. He didn't want to swap one colonial master for another. He wanted real sovereignty, real control of Congolese land by Congolese people. He was fighting for a world where Congolese workers are paid a fair wage, where the wealth from the sale of their mining materials stayed in the country, didn't flow off into offshore bank accounts. He dreamed of a Congo that could rise, invent, build, lead. You can have your iPhone without needing to put Congolese men in chains. I share Lumumba's dream of a world where our tech is not built on blood cobalt, but on liberated sovereign economies. Pay the Congolese man! If Congo had kept its wealth, we would probably have real-life Wakanda by now. Colonialism does not speed up innovation. It slows it down. Hoarding the wealth of another country in an offshore bank account does not help build a new world. It just feeds old empires. So what did the West do when Lumumba said no to being a puppet, when he couldn't be bought? Within weeks of Congolese independence, they were plotting against him. This is Joseph Mobutu. The CIA paid this man to stage a coup. That speech I showed you was on 30th of June. By July, Belgium, the US and Britain were actively discussing how to remove him. And Dulles was the CIA director. He ordered the CIA station chief in Congo, Larry Devlin, to eliminate Lumumba. This is Daphne Park. She was an MI6 officer in Congo at the time. And in later interviews, she admitted that Britain seen Lumumba as too independent and supported moves by the Americans too. This is Moe Chombe. He was a wealthy businessman from the Katanga province, this mineral-rich core. Educated by Christian ministries, this guy was super loyal to Belgian colonial structures. He wanted to keep Western money flowing into his own greedy pockets. He was paid by this mining company, a puppet bought and paid for by the Belgians. Just 11 days after Congolese independence, Chombe's Katanga secedes, or declares its own independence from Congo. And Belgium lands paratroopers, claiming it has to protect civilians from this internal chaos that it caused. The CIA and the MI6 then block the UN from any intervention. They use Cold War politics as a shield, claiming that Lumumba was a communist allied with Russia, and they position Chombe as a moderate leader. They do this deliberately because a broken and chaotic Congo was better for Western corporate interests. Lumumba's speech to the West was in June. By September, this man, Mobutu, launches a CIA-backed coup. Lumumba is captured. I'm running out of time, but stay with me. The next part is in the playlist below.